my pleasant duty once again to welcome all smart partners to our annual general meeting and of the year think tanking session. And as I said earlier, this is a special one because this is our 20th anniversary. In my last year's message, I had already alerted smart partners about the significance of the year 2015 to our organization, which is of course the 20th anniversary of CPTM and the 30th of our predecessors. And our predecessors, there were many of them. Started with SMO, then it was CommonSat, and then it was CCGTM. I had suggested that we look back to see what difference we have made in the countries we have been involved in. This we have not quite done, so let us pin that down as a task to be undertaken when time permits. Now I want to reflect on our own development as an organization. Our origin, SMO, Science Management Organization, part of the Commonwealth Secretariat, was born out of the concept of science for technology for development, promoting the developmental potential of science and technology before the term STI, Science, Technology and Innovation, became popular. SMO dealt with managing technological change, while CommonSat with technology and environmental assessment and management and the interrelationship between these issues and economic policy. This was the mandate CPTM inherited, which it termed technology management, and this involved 5 components: integration of technology into national economic development, planning and budgeting, integration of technological development into environmental management, developing and adaptation of best practices in technology management for specific country tasks, promotion of technological change through commercialization of research and technology, and promotion of pan-Commonwealth cooperation in technology ventures. It was a very big mandate. But resulting from demand in the field, technology management evolved beyond just managing technology, but more inclusive concept of the creation of an environment within which the generation and development of science and technology, the transfer of results of R&D to the marketplace, and the stimulation of the demand for new technology as well as the enhancement of technological capacity of industry can contribute to increased productivity. For this reason, CPTM in 1997 redefined technology management as, and I quote, the mechanism, processes, and infrastructure needed to foster, promote, manage, and sustain the development of scientific knowledge and technological innovation and related skills and expertise for the attainment and sustainability of the overall national development objective. It may be added that the current terms, national development objective, is actually socio-economic transformation. And technology management, therefore, is an integral part of macroeconomic management. 10 components of technology management are recognized. These are political commitment, policy integration, S&T advisory system, S&T development planning and management, STI infrastructure, R&D funding and management, mechanism for commercialization, human resource development, STI enculturization, and smart partnership, and science ethics principles and practices. These 10 components, which I have said this earlier, becomes a good checklist for national STI capacity, assessing strengths and weaknesses, and identifying gaps needing enhancement. Now, as I said earlier this morning, smart partnership is a relatively new component of technology management. It did not become part of the CPTM vocabulary until the first Langkawi International Dialogue in 1995. It was not difficult for CPTM to embrace smart partnership and makes it its own. It has been practicing smart partnership before the term was the first introduced. Its modus operandi has been based on the smart partnership principles from the SMO days through COMENSAT and CCGTM. Unlike many international agencies with propensity for carrying out their task by delivering prescriptive best practice solution, which has been likened to a disease which is called best practiceitis, to be avoided at all costs, CPTM and its predecessors have done so through smart networking. By this is meant promoting best practice through sharing experiences and cooperative networking involving both the public and private sectors, resulting in finding win-win homegrown solutions to problems or issues at hand, not prescriptive given by any international agencies. Now, the concept of smart partnership has developed and has evolved through the smart partnership engagement process into all-embracing cooperative and collaborative framework for dealing with issues at national or organizational level, or even at international level, and engaging all relevant stakeholders. These issues can be about national cohesion, stability and prosperity, about cooperation and the conduct of business at national or international levels, or about regional and international relationship, geopolitics, and science diplomacy. Now, I mentioned this earlier during conclusion of the previous session, that in December 1997, CPTM published Limitless Opportunities through Smart Partnership, describing in great detail the philosophy, the characteristics, and application of smart partnership. The book has undergone several revisions, and the last one was in 2010. 10 elements of smart partnership are enumerated as follows. I mentioned this also earlier. Shared vision, cultural diversity, code of ethics, trust, longevity, networks, transparency, equity, fair play, and values. I have summarized the above as partnering based on shared long-term vision and long-term commitment based on evolving common objectives that goes beyond strategic alliance. Fair and equitable outcome for all partners, and on ethical values based on respect, trust, transparency, and tolerance. These core elements can be used as a checklist for a robust partnering framework that will have a greater chance of securing the intended outcome. CPTM's activities over the years have concentrated mainly on enhancing national cohesion, stability, and prosperity through smart partnership by promoting transfer of best practice in governance for development. This encompasses the development of national vision and the strategies and action plan for achieving its objectives through the Smart Partnership Cooperative Framework. A good number of countries have benefited from these activities. This is why I had suggested that a feedback on these benefits will tell us exactly what difference we have made. And this feedback can come from the countries that have been interacted with us. Now, in Malaysia, CPTM and its predecessors have certainly left an indelible mark, particularly in the areas of science policy and management during my time that I was science advisor to Dr. Mahathir. It helped in the development of the management process for the intensification of research in priority area, which is a contestable fund for research introduced in the 5th Malaysia Plan for 1986 to 1990. CPTM members participated in many discussions and seminars, leading to the establishment of many entities that strengthen the STI ecosystem in Malaysia, including the establishment of MITE, Malaysian Industry Group for High Technology. Some of you are very familiar with that organization. The Academy of Sciences Malaysia today or this year celebrates also its 20th anniversary, and CPTM participated in many of the Academy's activities in the formative years. CPTM was very much involved in the first Smart Partnership Dialogue, Langkawi 1995, and was actually instrumental in the development of the Smart Partnership format, the Smart Partnership Dialogue format and dynamics, which is a unique feature of the smart engagement processes used in all our interactions today. The interaction promoted and nurtured by CPTM, which also acts as the link between the smart partnership engagement from one to another. Although smart partnership is now known well beyond Malaysia, the fact that it originated in Malaysia is still recognized. The wide applicability of smart partnership has promoted me in my message last year to suggest that it should be recognized as an important element in science diplomacy, and the smart partnership engagement process, dialogues, think tanking, and open houses be classified as a fifth process for science advice. The other four being advisory council, advisory committees, academies and learned societies, and of course the chief scientific advisors. We can claim smart partnership as a social innovation for collaboration and partnering for a smarter globe. In this context, I would like to bring up one global topic which is very current now. This year, the United Nations released its Sustainable Development Goals, UN Agenda 2030, a successor to the Millennium Development Goals 2000-2015. The SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, is the third in the series of development targets, the first being the Brundtland Report 1982, produced by the UN. These are proposals for reducing the disparity between the top and the bottom of the pyramid, also known as the bottom billions of the world population, and to cater for their unmet needs. The Brundtland Report dealt with long-term strategy for achieving sustainable development by 2000 and beyond, covering 6 areas of needs of the world's poor. The Millennium Development Goal covers 8 areas of concern, and the current Sustainable Development Goal covers 17 areas of concern. Each of the above 3 UN initiatives emphasize the need of international cooperation in order to achieve the objectives. Since the areas of concern have increased from 6 to 7 to 17, the unmet needs of the bottom of the pyramid have not only remained unmet, but new areas of concerns have emerged. Could this be a weakness in the international collaboration? Is a robust framework for partnership missing from the equation? I think this is where CPTM and our smart partnership concept and framework comes in. The question is, how do we promote our social innovation of smart partnership globally? I have no answer. We all have to ponder this issue. But certainly smart partnership is what the world deserves. In conclusion, sorry for that long message, but in conclusion, I should breathe a sigh of relief. I thank all smart partners for their contribution and continuing support, the directors for their wise counsel. Welcome, Excellency. No, just carry on. former president of Equity. I'm just concluding my message. So in conclusion, I thank all SMART partners for their contribution and continuing support. I thank the directors for their wise counsel and the hardworking members of the Hub for their dedication. Last but not least, my salute to the Chief Executive for her untiring effort and belief that everything is possible, the impossible takes a little longer. Thank you very much. Now we move to the next item, which is a membership update, which Mahela will do it at. She will give us the membership update. Please, Mahela.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I think it is a very special moment. The CPTM at 20, CPTM members at 20, and it seems to be everybody present here, both in physically but also virtually. As you know, this 20th annual general meeting is being broadcasted to the Caribbean web, to Canada, Washington, Texas, Southern Eastern Africa, West Africa, Malta, and Southeast Asia. So we have present physically with us representative of the CPTM Council of Patrons, the CPTM Smart Partnership Movement, His Excellency, CPTM Fellows Emeritus. We have honorable ministers who represent members in CPTM. We have civil servants, again, who represent CPTM. We have heads of Bureau of Standards, central bank governors, scientists who represent members. We have private sector presence, physically but otherwise. I know Louis Paul in Kuala Lumpur is watching, for instance, from Shell and a number of many others. We have labor. I know Zindoga plus his colleagues from Harare, they are also part of us. And we have the youth, the Smart 29ers, who are part of networking members, and they are here. So the categories of CPTM, Commonwealth Partnership for Technology Management, as a cooperative framework, they are all present. So this year, with the occasion of 20 years anniversary of this unique, still unique cooperative framework, I would like to dedicate my Chief Executive report to the members and the smart partners who are reflected in these highlights of the CPTM networking activities. It couldn't be a better way of saying who is a CPTM, both in the last 20 years but currently. So my Chief Executive report this year on the membership is the highlights of CPTM at work all over the Commonwealth and beyond. And in addition to this, on behalf of the movement and the board, we've been able to make a written submission to the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. We just finished last week, and we have Boniface here and High Commissioner Peter Kalage, also a board member, who have been in Malta Saturday and Sunday, and which Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, they've been receiving a written brief about the CPTM at 20, which they themselves set it up as a group in 1995 at a similar meeting in New Zealand, and probably they didn't realize the expansion and the depths that this group will get involved into. So this is also part of my Chief Executive report. And obviously, as part of the membership report, as Chief Executive after 20 years, I would like to say that the board members, starting with the chairman, Omar, and all the board members who are present here, but also present if they haven't been able to be here, to congratulate them, to thank to them for the 20 years ability to balance informality with formality. It is a unique achievement which we've been inspired by them on the board, and I've been particularly myself inspired and nudged all the time to balance the informality, the intellectual equity with the formality of the company procedures. For that purpose, my dedication to the directors will be, Masentle, could you help me? Will be a little token for each and every director who is present. This is Tanshi Omar. We'll check the label. Okay. Masentle? Is it better for you to give to me that?
This is Leonard.
Okay.
This one is Andrew Tausek. He's
No,
not here.
Andrew Tausig is not here. So the beginning of the board was a transformation in itself from an informal professional group, almost like the joint executive group. Could you give them all to me? And yeah, please. And which in 1995, when the company has been established, that professional joint executive group became what is called the CPTM Limited Board. And a number of directors are still on the board, not because there are not new directors who would represent the various categories, but may I have all the bag? But because
John Mayer is not here.
yeah, do you have the bag with those who are not here, or the bag with those who are here? Where is the other bag?
Peter Kyle.
Okay, fine. Peter, that's specifically Your Excellency High Commissioner. This is the mixture of and board of directors representing the government. Lekoma Motibasela, George Christodoulides. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Gideon not here.
Huh?
Gideon not
John Shurdom,
This one is ticking.
Barry,
Chu.
Dr. Chu.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Where are the others?
Yeah.
Gwen Yai,
Yai.
the youngest on the board, alongside
Ian.
Ian Verloop,
Thank you.
the representative of private sector. And is there any other?
Nothing.
Okay. So Amira, could you come here? You're not part of the board, but you are always like part of the board. So here we are.
Well done.
So with
These
that, I
These are the three.
finish
that's-
my
yeah.
report as a chief executive of the 20th anniversary. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next item is the announcement of the 2015 CPTM Companions
Awards.
The award for companionship for CPTM special on the 20th anniversary celebration. I will call out the names one by one.
But there is a beginning.
Yeah.
Okay. You
The
don't.
actual document presentation will be done at the end after the AGM, but this is just to announce the 20 companions for 2015. The first one is His Excellency Mr. Jakaya Morisco Kikwete of the United Republic of Tanzania. Next is the Honorable Marco Mukoso Koskiu of Namibia.
Former Deputy Prime Minister.
Former
Deputy Prime Minister. He's not here.
He's not here. The next one is the Honorable Martin Dlamini from Swaziland. Also not here.
Honorable Minister.
Then His Excellency Godfrey Magwenzi of Zimbabwe.
Ambassador.
And then Mr. Tapelo Anteta from Botswana. Ahmad Nizam of Caribbean of Malaysia. Mr. Martin Dalmeny of Swaziland. Ms. Kompo Vivian Makahima of Botswana. Dr. Ines Komichi of Mozambique, he's not here. Mr. Alan Brydens of France. Mr. Lomkosi Mkota, Swaziland. Mr. Alan Bryden.
Twice. Alan Smith.
No, it's Alan Smith, United Kingdom. Sorry, they. Professor Luke Doju from UK also. Luke. Professor Christopher Chetsanga of Zimbabwe is not here. Professor Emmanuel Sumusimi Mutabele of Uganda. Mr. Richard Unwin of UK. Mr. John Blackshaw of Australia. Professor Virginia Gambar of Argentina, she's not here. Last but not least, Mr. Joseph Sang of Mauritius. And we are...
Chairman, I think we must Professor Banner Lula.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Did I miss that? I'm sorry, sir. And we are... CPTM is very honored that all of you have agreed to accept CPTM companionship. You do us the honor of accepting to become a companion of our organization. Thank you all very much. Now we have more or less completed the non-formal part of our meeting, because the agenda item 5 is supposed to be about the 20th anniversary of CPTM, and we have already mentioned that this is a special meeting commemorating our 20th anniversary. Now I turn to the formal business of the meeting and ask that the notice of meeting is taken as read. Now, before proposing Resolution 1, which is to receive CPTM's account for the year ended 31st March 2015, I invite questions on those accounts and the report of the directors and auditors on those accounts. Members should have received copies of the accounts, but if not, a copy is available from the reception desk. Any comments on those accounts and the report? Yes, Roger?
Chairman, it's very gratifying to see contributions up enormously out on previous years. I just wondered if you could tell us a little bit about how this has been achieved.
Can we ask our finance manager?
I would.
Okay.
I would say that the contributions to the CPTM come from, if you look into my Chief Executive report, comes from financial contribution, come from different categories of members. Governments, annual contributions, the governments in the Commonwealth, then public-private sector, public sector, for instance, British Standards Institute or Barbados Standards Institute or Central Bank in Uganda, for instance, or Swaziland. And then from a separate one is from the CPTM Fellows Endowment Fund that was set up specifically to enhance the maintenance of the CPTM to support the smart partnership movement and international dialogues. And the third category of contribution is from Smart Partnership International Dialogues equal contribution of $100,000, which is set up symbolically equal for every country, large or small. So that is what explains probably in the accounts some of these sources of contributions. And to be frank, it's not enough, Roger. It's far too little. And not only that, that it doesn't, if you look at the number, the figure, it's totally unrepresentative to what leverage the human resource and the smart partnership can do or does. And it's always very difficult for me to explain when I go to international standard organizations or ITU or anywhere else where we go, how is it that the CPTM and the members and the smart partnership movement does what it does and is so active. So that is the value into it. Yeah, thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
Thank you. What else can I say?
Well, there are no other questions or comments. I shall now turn to the resolutions. At this year's AGM, resolutions 1 and 2 will be taken on a show of hands without the need for voting forms. And resolution 3 and to 7 inclusive will be taken by ballot with the completion by eligible members of voting forms. The voting forms will have been given to members when they arrive and registered their attendance at this meeting. Is that correct? You all have got your voting forms? Okay. I now turn to resolution number 1, relating to the receipt of CPTM's account for the year ended 31st March 2015, together with the reports of the directors and auditors thereon. May I propose that the auditor's report, which is on page 5 and 6 of the accounts, be taken as read. I propose as an ordinary resolution that those accounts, together with the reports of the directors and auditors, be received. Can I see members who agree put up your hand, please? Are we counting? Thank you. Any against? Can I see your hands, please? There are none. I therefore declare resolution 1 pass. Now we move on to resolution number 2, which is to reappoint Messrs. Deloitte and Touche LLP as auditors. As members know, Deloitte and Touche are an internationally known accountancy practice who have audited the company's accounts since its inception of its operations. I propose as an ordinary resolution that Mrs. Deloitte Touche LLP be and are hereby reappointed auditors to hold office until the conclusion of the next annual general meeting, at which accounts are laid before members and to authorize the directors to agree their remuneration. Would all members in favor please raise your hand? Those against? There are none. I therefore declare resolution 2 taken or passed or approved. Now we move next to the resolutions relating to the reappointment of directors, namely resolution 3 to 7 inclusive in the notice of meeting. The names of the directors seeking reappointment appear in those resolutions. As I mentioned earlier, these resolutions will be taken on the ballot. In the case of each resolution, would you kindly complete the appropriate voting form for that resolution and hand it to the collectors? Our legal advisor,
It's actually Mr. Matt Orcott.
Mr. Matt Orcott,
our legal advisor, and after you
the
also.
company secretary and legal advisor.
Okay. Mr. Matt Orcott from Deloitte Touche, our accountants, will count.
The company secretary.
Mr. Matt Orcott will count the votes later and will announce the result. And I will announce the results towards the end of the meeting. Okay? Can you fill up your forms and pass it to that handsome gentleman near the door? There are two handsome gentlemen there. The one with the dark hair.
Sorry, we do them individually.
Okay, this is.
One by one.
Can you do them one by one?
Start with 9, resolution 3.
So this is the voting paper for resolution 3. Okay.
Color is pink.
Pink color form.
Pink color.
Collect the pink color form.
Pink. If you are a member of the government,
The whole thing out. You need to put the resolution. Can you read from turning out to resolution 3? Read that out.
Okay. Well, let me read the resolution again for clarity. For resolution 3, I propose an ordinary resolution, or this is now for the directors, that Dr. Andulata Angolo be and is hereby reappointed as director representing financially contributing government members until the conclusion of CPTM AGM for 2018. Would only financially contributing government members please complete the voting form colored pink and hand it over to the collectors.
fine. Okay?
There will only be there are very few pink.
Fine. Fine.
Okay, you got it?
So you got it.
Anyone? Any more? Only one? No contributing members? Okay. Resolution number 4. I am proposing resolution number 4 as an ordinary resolution, namely that Datuk Chu Engguan be and is hereby reappointed as a director representing permanent members until the conclusion of CPTM AGM for 2018. Would only private and public sector members please complete the voting form colored light green and hand that over to the collectors. Light green.
There will only be a few of those as well.
There are not that many.
Yeah.
Sorry. You've got yours? You don't have your green? You didn't vote, you don't have to, you didn't vote for yourself. You should. No green.
The light green. Yeah, there is one there.
You don't have one for yourself?
Is that enough?
So he cannot elect himself? He cannot elect himself?
Do you,
Private,
No, no.
he hasn't got a light green form.
But you can't vote yourself.
Why not?
No, no.
Of course you do. Of course you can vote yourself.
That's all right.
Yes.
but he didn't get a vote.
You didn't get the form.
Can we just we don't need that. Okay?
Okay, now we move on to resolution number 5. And I propose as an ordinary resolution that Mr. Lakoma Motibasela be and is hereby reappointed as a director representing networking members until the conclusion of CPTM's AGM for 2018. Now, networking members, please complete the blue form. It is not very.
It's not very organized. Don't worry. Let's go through it. One more.
It's always difficult because of the different categories and all that.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on.
Okay, we move on to resolution number 6.
Shall I read it?
Which is concerning my own
We can't read it.
re-election. So I am passing this over to Dr. George Crostiloides to conduct this part of the meeting.
Chairman, I am delighted to propose as an ordinary resolution that House 3 Dr. Omar Aman be reappointed as a director representing networking members until the conclusion
Where's the
of
form?
CPTM's AGM for
knows?
2018.
Cannot elect
Only
yourself.
networking members
You should be able to elect
need
yourself.
vote for yellow.
The yellow one. The yellow one?
Andy? I already signed mine. Not done.
Well, I voted for him, even if I didn't get the
You
form.
did?
I am a networking member.
Did you vote for him?
I am a networking member.
I'm a networking member too.
Yeah, but I didn't get the form.
Now I now turn to Chair
Thank you, George. Now we turn next to resolution number 7. And I would like to propose an ordinary resolution that Dr. Andrew Tausek, he's not here, he sent his apologies, but he has agreed to be reappointed if you want to do so as a director representing networking members until the conclusion of CPTM's AGM for 2018. Now, would networking members please complete the voting form colored orange? Okay, the voting by ballot has been done. Now the counting, which Mr. Alcott and her, with help from the hub's personnel, will be counting them. In the meantime, we have a few minutes. Anybody wants to say anything or raise any issue? General, please.
Yeah, I told you earlier that everything has a balancing factor to it. And I wouldn't like to think that smart partnership can score 100% all the time. I would like to raise the standard of question in the voting. Because voting should always go for authenticity. Is it what standard are we using in printing the names instead of signing? Why are we printing? Why are we not signing so it is authentic? Who can say that I printed my name or somebody has not printed it for me? But the next time we both sign and print. So which standard are we using in that?
I mean, you have a. Okay.
Can I deal with that as the legal advisor? We've adopted the practice so far of just asking. There are two checks, really. The first check is that when people come in, they give their name, and then we will have pre-prepared with the particular voting papers that are applicable to each of the people who vote on the election of directors, because that we need to have for the different categories. And so therefore we have to have voting forms. So that's the first check. Normally the hub staff will actually know the people involved. So therefore when people give their names, they will actually know that they are the actual people. And the second, the second check is to actually ask people to write their name, but of course we can ask them to sign as well. I mean, that is something that, you know, if the members feel is what they would like, then that can be done. I don't think it's a legal necessity. I mean, even printing the name is not a legal requirement, but it does give some check to say that the right person has received it. I mean, we don't expect people to be dishonest, but mistakes do happen in giving the wrong form to the wrong person sometimes, and the signature actually should prevent the mistakes.
Yes, Judge.
On the same issue, I think that voting should be without a name. You don't vote for somebody to be elected or non-elected, and then you tell them who has voted against you or for you. So voting should be impersonal. So it's a question of controlling who's having a pink or a green sheet. It's up to the administration to ensure that the right people have the right voting. If we want to make sure that it is authentic, then a signature of some sort, but it shouldn't give the name. I suggest that voting should be nameless. That's my opinion.
So, Your Excellency, you are probably very experienced in elections and voting. Do you think we need to take some experience from the most successful elections that you had in relation to the issue that the members raised, or is probably not? Is not that sort of. Thank you. Yeah. Anyway, one of the issue that we had since the CPTM has been given shape and was legally articulated as a company limited by guarantee, with members like governments in the Commonwealth, public-private sector, and networking members, was that, and Secretary General of the Commonwealth, was that a government is not a person. A government had to be represented by a natural person, including in the voting or elections that is taking place now. A company, a public or private sector, the same, is an entity, is an institutional framework, is not a natural person. But again, it had to be a natural person who is voting or electing. The networkers are the ones that are only natural persons, meaning individuals, and they happen to be some fellows, heads of government, former heads of government in their personal capacity as much as that allows them, or chief executive of big companies. So one of the unique feature, and difficult to explain, but makes it extremely valuable, is this mixture of the formal presence of governments, public-private sector institutions, and individuals. So for that reason, questions are being asked each time we meet for 20 years. How does this work? So somehow we follow the rule and the legal advice of the company house. So we did the same right now, so I think we are safe. Thank you.
Chairman, can I just, I think my voice is loud enough to carry. There is no legal requirement that you need to put your name nor sign. The reason it was employed is because it's an unusually complicated situation to have the different categories of member with voting forms. And even today we can see there's a bit of confusion. And so it was done so that as a check, not to try to monitor who's going to vote against, but rather to make sure that we weren't getting the wrong people signing the wrong forms. But there is no, the articles have no, don't prescribe any particular route, and the members can choose whatever route they particularly want.
But I don't want Omar to know that I voted against.
So the only solution is to put the wrong name.
Right, okay.
I suppose the open data and all the rest of it will change that altogether, Mervyn.
Yes, please.
Can I ask a question? How possible is it that, I think maybe as a matter of motivation or something, how possible is it that, let me make an example of South Africa. In South Africa, at the level of government, the president is elected in 4 years and the next 4 years. So it's about 8 years if people still have that kind of a party. But after that, he should step down and to give others chance. How possible is it that the CPTM can also get into that kind of a system? My question is, how possible is it?
It is possible because there's nothing to prevent it. At the moment, we elect a director to serve for a period of 3 years, at the end of which he can offer himself to be or herself to be re-elected at the AGM. And there's nothing in our rule that say there is a time limit, but there is nothing to say that the members should not say we don't want him anymore. So
It is a smart partnership framework.
are we ready? Yes. Okay, can.
All resolutions were passed unanimously. Okay. We only ended up getting one vote for the first one. But the results are. So every single resolution was passed unanimously.
Okay.
And the results basically showing the number of votes all in favour.
Well, the ballots have been counted, and I am advised with the evidence here that all the resolution has been passed unanimously. So all those.
So I'm not a suspect.
All those offering themselves for re-election have been re-elected, and I would like to congratulate them for agreeing to continue their service to the organization. And those just elected will serve for the next 3 years. Thank you very much. Well, you should be happy to know that's the end of our of our meeting. We have dealt with all the issues that is on the agenda, and there is no other issue that has been brought for inclusion in our meeting today. So thank you all very much. And we have a little bit of time before our next before our next function, which is the the companion ceremony. So thank you very much for your participation and for your cooperation. Thank you.
I don't think Mihaela would nudge Omar saying Ahsan, Ahsan if she knew what I was saying. The reason we have Omar stuck in this position is that nobody wants to take over his job and work closely with Mihaela all the time.
Thank you, Omar.
Thank you, Omar.
I think one other reason why George is still on the board is because without humor, we wouldn't be here. Each and every time we meet with him and we get very serious, Your Excellency, you will be seeing we have a wisdom and a humor from Cyprus. So that's why he is on the board.
He'll bring us back to sanity also.
Okay, if you are with your agreement, if you are happy that we proceed straight away with the next
we'll
item,
just make 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
or you want a break of 3 minutes? Okay, you may want a break of 3 minutes before.